Hello. Hold on.
Oh, look at it. She bought that. Period.
What's the craziest conspiracy theory you think about, but you wouldn't tell nobody?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You got one tapped in? Craziest conspiracy theory. Pizzagate. They all did that shit. They got the island. Yeah, Bill Gates. Goddamn the first lady. Goddamn the Trump. Yeah, all of them. They tapped in.
Hey, Mike, what's your worst breakup story?
My worst breakup story? I caught him in bed cheating. I whooped that.
Oh man. That's sad now.
Hey.
All right, next question. What's heavier, a pound of pillows or a pound of pennies?
A pound of pennies.
Pound of pennies. This is the last one.
He can't even say it. He's gonna dial.
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Yo, welcome to Political RANSOM. I'm gonna tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in today. Today we got a great topic for y'all. And the topic came because J Mac wanted to talk about it. And the reason we're talking about it today is because she said she's blaming black men for the behaviors of black women. Y'all hear that? She's blaming black men for the behaviors of black women. I need you to introduce yourself, but tell us how you got to this.
Well, first of all, hey again to you. It's
What's
been
up?
a while since I've been here. I am J Mac from the Chill Out J podcast. And so hopefully you guys have either seen me before, or if this is your first time, hopefully you will consider subscribing. But yeah, I basically literally just had this random thing today. I called Said on my break at work, and I was like, you know what? I just really feel like y'all black men are going to have to really step in and intervene before y'all let black women destroy the entire planet. And the reason why I say the entire planet is because we have a lot of black women in power, political power right now in the United States. And we, of course, know the United States is, you know, a super world power. The president of the United States is arguably the most powerful person in the world. So anyone who has political dealings in this country really holds a lot of power the world over, you know, possibly. So that's why I worded it that way. But yeah, so that's what I had said. And of course, you know, I'm ready to stand on it and, you know, defend my position.
So when she brought the topic to me before I came up here to the studio today, I asked my wife, I said, Jazz said black men are to blame. I said, how do you feel? She said, I kind of agree. She said, it's probably too far gone now. But she said there was once upon a time where she felt like black men was like the backbone of the family. And she basically was like, we have the black men pretty much gone. How you feel about that?
So I agree with that. I think that, and this is going to get so deep. So first of all, y'all buckle in because, you know, this ain't y'all's little cookie cutter, run of the mill. No, we get heavy here. So I think this all started with the desire for white female sexual access from black men going back to the civil rights movement. Because if you really think about it, and there are people who are very pro-black who say that same thing, that say that our first mistake was that our men were because men are competitors by nature. And I don't think that black men were ever able to get over how subjugated they were during slavery and Jim Crow times and that kind of thing. So they felt like the ultimate get back would have been to have sexual access to the white man's woman. And in doing that, he didn't realize probably just how detrimental it would have been to his own, you know, his own community. So we had this adjacence to white people that we never really were supposed to have.
Hold on, so you said a lot.
Yeah, I did.
So you saying the conquest of white cootie pop from black men did what now?
That it started all of this, basically.
Okay, it started. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the starting point. Black men wanting to get the white cootie pop. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Now, I hate disclaimers, but I have to give one because I know this is Said's new channel. So it's people on here that really might not know me at all. I am not anti-black male. In fact, I'm very pro-black male. I'm not anti-black anybody, but if anything, I'm usually giving the hell to the females because I know the role the females play in nonsense, which is obviously why we're making this video in the first place. But yeah, so I think it started there. And having that mindset of like, I want this thing so much that I'm willing to essentially sell my people out for it, like put them in, like how Martin Luther King we all know by now, he's famously quoted as saying soon before he died that he fears that he led his people into a burning building.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had our own things. We had our own communities. We had our own schools. We had our own pharmacies. We had our own libraries and all these things. But that white man's ice just had to seem colder to us. And the ice in this analogy is, as said, to call it the cootie pop. And so since they were just so determined to have that, it ended up having a negative effect on us. And so they started to pull away from the family. And because at the end of the day, we can blame Black women.
So before you keep going, what can we look at historically that proves that Black men were out here chasing white women, and that was like the slippery slope or got the ball rolling to all of this?
I wouldn't say there's like a specific historical event or anything like that. And I almost wouldn't even also use words like chasing, because I'm not saying it was like a widespread thing, but enough Black men in the midst of all the racial tension that we were having, I think would it not stand to reason that if you're in a society where there's this group of people and they're literally looking down at you, they don't want you to even drink out of the same water fountains as you, they don't think you should eat at the same restaurants as them, what in God's great earth would possess you to want to? Because the women were doing the same thing. They were, in fact, sometimes they were worse. So what would make you? Women were worse? No, the white women. Okay. I'm saying, like, because of course we know the white men were doing, but the white women were along with it too. So as a Black man, I never could understand why so many of them were willing to. I don't know.
I guess it's the forbidden fruit analogy. Like, we want what we can't have. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I did not know she was starting here. So that's why I'm trying to make sure I get clarity, because I did not know where we were going, because she called me hyped up. And I guess I know why. So me and her both felt the way about Jasmine Crockett. And so a lot of people, honestly, I'm surprised so many people, especially Black women, have been giving a pushback to Jasmine Crockett. I see, a handful of people here, but like I told Jazz when she called me, I said, well, Jasmine Crockett is a person they put out in front of Black women to make sure they always secure that 92% vote.
Oh, please expound on that, because you made such a good point about that earlier.
Well, like I said, you don't have to give them nothing but attitude and, Black girl magic and, a little hair flips and a few cuss words, and, you still got the Black women onto that. But what you're doing is still pushing Black men away from something like that too. So even though you might still hold on to your woman or your female vote, you're still dividing the male vote. And it's going to potentially look like every other voting block pretty soon. Pretty much most people vote down the middle, like Hispanics, 50 here, 50 there, Democrat, Republican, you got your few, independents, here or there. But I think for the most part, it's going to keep pushing the Black men. I think we're going to see a difference in our party split, though. You're going to see Black women on one side, Democrat. I think you're going to see Black men on one side, Republican. I think that's going to be crazy.
Well, it's already happening, of course, because we know that, what was it? It was either 18% of Black men ended up voting for Trump this time, something like that. And that's substantial, because it's usually like under 10. You know what I'm saying? So to nearly double is substantial. And I think that the reason for that is because men are, and I say this so much, I feel like a broken record, but men are naturally inclined to rationality, to just being logical, this kind of thing, and women aren't. So a lot of times the movements and the things that people are doing on the left are antithetical to masculinity, period. First of all, it's all the LGBT stuff. There's no masculinity in that. It's perversion of truth, and truth is the same as logic. So men wouldn't go along with that either. And then you're propping up the women all the time, and the men are like, okay, hold on. Well, even though Black men allow, but I think y'all allow for the Black women to get out of control and to damn near lead the community and stuff. But I think deep down, and of course not you, but deep down, y'all know that that's wrong. And I think that there's always that like turmoil inside of you that's like, no, I know there needs to be some pushback to this. But in the Black community, pushback against Black women is taboo.
Okay, so start right there. I agree with you. There was some I agree 50-50. There was some times where black men probably like they threw their hands up and let black women take it and have it or whatever, with them letting them go and be with the government, married to the government. But also there was a lot of things that came in and impeded men leading the household. You had trains running into your neighborhoods with guns there. You had alcohol, you had the church, you had so many things that was put there to separate the black man and the black woman. Now, do that mean you have to accept it when it's put there? No, but there's people that spend billions of dollars a year just studying how people move. So it's not like they didn't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you only do a certain thing to certain people if you think they dumb or they just ignorant. Right. And so that's how we got to the point where so many people in our community are divided now because, like I said, drugs, all these things separate us. But at the same time, black men didn't have to, sell drugs to provide for your family, that potentially got you locked up and now your wife is raising all of the children. But then it's like, okay, I work at the car company, the automotive company, and then it moves out. Because Birmingham is a prime example of that. Birmingham was a big steel industry, very big steel industry. And you ride down the freeway, you ride past Woodlawn, you see the building tore down. That was a steel plant. Now they're putting a Coca-Cola plant there. And you go a little bit further, there was O'Neill Steel. You got Sipico, you got U.S. Steel, you got U.S. Pipe. Like Birmingham was a big steel pipe industry, and a lot of those companies left. So much so that my granddaddy, he came from Selma, moved his family up here to work at Sipico.
Okay.
So a lot of those companies left. And just think about like places like Detroit, while a lot of the automotives left. Now you in the heart of Detroit, you was working and you was making good money, and those companies leave. And this community is desolate. And then the lack of opportunity, like I said, some things we got to be like, okay, it kind of makes sense. Because we would okay, right now, if someone was in the hood and a little girl got killed on just sitting on her porch, straight bullet, she would nothing involved, you would say to yourself, why do people want to still live like that? And people still live like that.
Well, that I think is that's a much bigger conversation. Like, for instance, what you described about the steel plants closing and this type of thing, that didn't just happen to black men. That happened to working class, blue collar men of all races. Anybody that was...
Hold on, this is my pushback. I'll push back on that. So my grandfather, I remember him saying this. He said when he moved up here to Sipico, it was easier for him and black men to get jobs, especially the black men from the country where he was from, because they had the attitude they wanted to work. They was poor. They, you got to think about it. Selma's going down one street light, dirt road. It's nothing down there. So you got this opportunity and they give you housing somewhere to stay. So it's like they were actually looking for black men from the country to come up here and work. So there was a lot of opportunity for black men to get a job over a lot of those white men.
So you feel like black men had an advantage in that situation?
Yeah, there were some advantages. There was some advantages of working. Just to even think about like labor unions, why they got started. Because like when a lot of the slavery ended, most of the black men held the skills for a lot of these jobs. So they had a lot of labor unions, so the white boys could end up getting jobs too, because a lot of black men held the skills and stuff. So they were trying to bogart them out of these jobs.
See, and I think when we have these conversations, it's very important that people don't think that I'm saying that there's no, racial injustice that was done, because of course we know that there was. I just feel like there's really not now. And I think that since we've thrived in an environment that was literally meant to take us down, this is where my point comes in now. Because in the 50s and 60s, we were doing better across many other metrics. Correct. We had more black entrepreneurship. We've already talked about the higher black marriage rates, intact families, business ownership, just general, the way we perceive education, all that type of stuff. And that was in the thick of some of the most racially divisive times in this country. So you can't tell me that now in 2025, where you can't be barred from anywhere because you're black, barred from anything because you're black, you can't tell me that we should be regressing. The only way that would be the case is if we changed something about ourselves in that time. And of course, we know that what that is. We changed our political affiliation.
That
from
changed.
Yes,
something else changed. Slavery changed. Jim Crow changed. All of those.
I'm talking about I'm talking for just like 1960.
Okay, so a lot of those civil rights movements and stuff like that. When you talk about change, change is slow. So a lot of the stuff that when you see change, it was because we had no choice to be with each other. Now we got the opportunity. Now you don't like somebody, you gonna move over there with the white people. Like I say, when white people move into black neighborhoods, they call it gentrification.
And when they leave, they call it white flight.
White flight. So it's like it just depends on how you look at it. Because like I say, if you're a black person in your neighborhood, you see a white person, you be like, oh, the neighborhood coming up. And like I say, you remember all the movies we used to watch where a black family moving to a white neighborhood. Then the white man on the porch, you say, well, damn, there goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood. Well, see, I think that mindset just comes from the fact that black people can't be satisfied.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. And I know you probably saw that meme that I shared.
Yeah.
Where it was talking about how, excuse me, once again, like said, just mentioned, if they come to the neighborhood, it's gentrification. If they leave, it's white flight. Mm-hmm. If they start acting like black people and doing things like us, our dances, listening to our music, it's cultural appropriation. If they ignore it, then it's somehow racist, it's dismissive. Oh, you don't play our stuff on the big stages or whatever else. And then of course they have some other examples. And so it's just, you can't be satisfied. And I said this on one of my videos. If I was a white person, well, y'all sure enough hate me. I wouldn't give y'all nothing but my ass to kiss.
And that's how I feel. Honestly, I think white people should.
At this point, they should feel like that, because why? I'm not about to sit up here and pay, you know what I'm saying, be patronized all the time. Like, if I know I'm a good person, that's all I can be in this world. If you're gonna focus on every little microaggression, if you go on TikTok now, there's some buzz cut, bald-headed black woman with the septum piercing, you know the costume, that's making videos talking about how a white woman calling her girl, like, you know how women will just be like, girl, apparently a white girl can't say that. Not that it's cringe, because it kind of is, but that it's racist. Mm-hmm. And have you ever seen the memes that'll be like, is it just me or is bro diet nigga? They be like the word bro. I heard that one. Yeah, they be like the word bro is kind of like diet nigga.
See, they just now they just making up.
That's what I'm saying. They just splitting hairs. They just want something to be mad about.
And I tell white people, like, even on my channel, when I say so, white people just get out the way. Exactly. Don't try to be a savior. Don't try to speak on black issues. Don't do anything, because if you could have a really good, for instance, you could say, I think black fathers need to be in the neighborhood. Then somebody be like, well, y'all the reason that they ain't in the, well, maybe I know that. And that's why I'm telling you that. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying this. So now when we having these conversations, if I say anything or misspeak, or it's not to your liking, or it's not with this type of flavor or swag, now you got an issue, because I'm a white boy telling you, a white man or a white woman telling you something about what should happen. If I'm white,
something that's common sense more times than not.
Right. If I'm white, I just would just be like, you know what? I'm not getting involved. If you see some black people need help in the mall, walk past them. If you want to, I'm telling you, if I'm white at this point in America, I would just be like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with what y'all got going on. Y'all handle it over there. And honestly, if you really cared about black people, that's how you would handle a lot of stuff.
Because otherwise you're just going to seem like you're trying to be white savior, and that is that bigotry of low expectations, which we've also talked about on my channel, and I know yours as well, where these white people, white liberals, Malcolm X talked about them, where they basically feel like that you're too dumb as black people, you're too incompetent, incapable of doing things yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't possibly create your own families and stuff, so we'll just have the government be your daddy, be y'all's fathers, be y'all's male leaders. And shout out to my girl Alexis from Texas for that 5-ball. Thank you so much, sis. Cheers to you.
Thank you. Make sure you share the screen for us.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. So we done went around. Let's bring it back to black men. Do you think, just your personal opinion, just looking out right now in 2025, do you think black men are incompetent?
No.
And hold on, in the sense of leading a family.
I think a lot of black men are, only because they've been single mother raised, and I don't think they have the tools and the model for how that should look. I think it's been too many generations past now. Like some of them still have grandfathers, but that's not the same as having a father
Right.
And then even with the grandfathers, that boomer generation, I think most people our age probably have boomer grandparents, late boomer grandparents. Even then the tides were kind of starting to turn in a negative way because the men were working like, pack mules and stuff. And I'm not sure if they were appreciated as much as they should have been.
That
for
and you
that.
got to think about coming from the war. A lot of men then return home too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So there have been a lot of things that really have kind of like, effed up the dynamics between black men and black women. I just feel like, sincerely, I don't have an issue with like interracial dating and stuff. I really don't. But what bothers me is the guy that just honey just went on to glory because honey now you ain't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that.
He didn't have to say all that stuff.
You rather sleep with a dog than a black woman?
He said that now. He posted that now.
Right, that's just ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And he's not the only one. He's nowhere near the only black man that thinks like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I said, I think how you started this with black men and the conquest of white vagina, I would think those guys that got her down the black woman to get to that spot and be with white women, I think those are the type of men that want to be exalted for dating the white woman. Because if we telling the truth, in America and pretty much all around the world, the European standard of beauty makes the white woman the trophy out of all women, right? So it's not me saying it. It's not what I believe because I'm attracted to black women, right?
And he's married to
I'm married to a black woman. So I'm just saying I'm attracted to black women. There's nothing about a white woman that has really just attracted me, right? And so, but just on the world stage, it just seems as if white women, the white figure, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, your moves they put in, then get to the point where we get to colorism, where they always, choosing the light-skinned chick, or they make the light-skinned chick more feminine and docile, or they'll try to make the black girl, more ghetto, like, think about Martin, like Pam and Gina.
Even though Pam was bad.
Pam was bad.
The real kind.
She bad. Hold on now. When I seen naked and them panties and bra on House Party.
Oh my God!
Hey, I ain't know you were tone like that,
man. Oh my God!
But Pam was a different type of thing. But that
well, Pam was that fit, like she was fit. She had that. She was that flat stomach and just she was that 90s fine.
Yeah, she was like she was. But like I said, it's just when we just go down all the obstacles, and that's why we're talking about it. But a blanket statement of black men, I think you see a lot of black men now pushing back. I think black men are understanding it's time to say stuff. It's time to speak up. You had your likes of one of my favorite YouTubers or people like that. It's like Tommy Sotomayor,
right?
Patrice O'Neal. I like a white person like
Tom, you picked
Tom Likas.
Oh my God, you picked like the most extreme.
But I think for an extreme, what we've had in society, you needed that total other extreme to kind of push it back. It's like if you have a force pushing something, you're gonna probably need that.
You need the equal force for sure. But I do have one thing I need to say before I forget. Okay. So I do have to segue just a little bit. So I love Six the Goddess.
Okay.
And so she has this sentiment now. Six, if you watching this, I love you, girl, but your butt is raised. Sis, that's one of the most racist. She won them black, but she does it in a way that's not annoying.
Okay.
It's just that it comes from a different place. That's just her worldview. I'm not here to knock it. But one thing that she says, and I want to know your opinion about it, she says that it is weird. She uses words like weird. That's yours.
Okay.
I don't have any eyes. That it's weird for black men to not like physically be attracted. Obviously, there's some white women that are nice looking or whatever, but to actually pursue relationship with white women, because inherently you should not be attracted to a woman who is so much more powerful than you. That's a weird dominatrix kind of dynamic. It's of course like subconscious. It's not like overt.
But if you're looking at it as powerful, men want to hold on. If you flip that on his head, if you're looking at somebody that's more powerful, and men have always been the conquerors and conquests, wouldn't that be one of the reasons why you would pursue a white woman, because you wanted to conquer that?
No, so it's more so that she herself, like her even as a white woman, is more powerful than you as a black man. But if you were dating a black woman, she would not be.
But if I bed you, that would mean you're not powerful than me now.
She at any point in time said with the snap of her finger can ruin your entire life. A black woman really does not have that type of pull. When we cry wolf and rape and violence or whatever, honey, people they might listen or whatever, and for the most part they don't care. If a white woman say a black man is beating on her, done sexually did something to her, baby, the police finna come out the trees on your ass.
You know what? I'm just gonna say this. I beg to differ on that, and the reason is because I've seen too many cases where black women have messed up people's lives, and even like the lady that just came out with the Duke lacrosse team, that was on white boys.
Well, that came in the height of, I shouldn't say the height of, that's not true, but in a time that was like big on like this feminism, and it kind of ushered in what we know to be like the Me Too movement now. Mm-hmm. I think that's why that worked. And plus, once again, white people knew that societally you couldn't question that situation. As a white person, you couldn't question what that girl was saying. A black woman said something bad happened to her at the hand of some white men. Like, well, you better, if you say something against that, you gotta be what? A racist, bigot.
That go back to the flip side of it. You can say white women have power, but then you also can say black women have power. And we see that every day. And that's kind of how we got on this conversation, because you were saying that black women are going to ruin the country because of the power that we got, like a Jasmine Crockett, a Ayanna Pressley, your Maxine Waters. All of these women with these big megaphones are able to speak and say the most crazy, outlandish things. And then we're starting to see same thing, like you said, with the Duke lacrosse team. You can't question it because it's a black woman, and you can't question black women on anything. We let them run rampant. Like it's amazing the amount of fight videos that I see of black women, and nobody goes to jail. They being tan on McDonald's, Burger Kings, and the police just come in and break it up.
Well, where are those things happening though? Those things be happening in the hood. Yeah, don't nobody care about what happens in the hood.
But I agree, but then I disagree, because it's like, do we think that we go to jail at a disproportionate rate, or do you think it's fair? Because if that goes back to this case, that will go back to you saying, hey, a white woman can ruin your life just like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think that it got to be unfair, or they're not going to look into the case. Because I would argue now that even when you see a lot of stuff when it comes to interracial dating, I think this is from what I know, and historically, typically when a white woman has been, they can prove that you've been with, black man, most white men wash their hands of that black woman.
I mean, that typically is true.
Even so much so that, back in the day, if your daughter got caught with a black man, he'll go and kill you.
Before we go into that,
okay,
I just want to say hey to Hassan. He's one of my most loyal watchers. Good, what's up, Hassan? And anybody who's watching, hey y'all, I hope y'all are enjoying the show. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Political Ransom channel, and of course the Chill Out J podcast if you aren't already. But to your point, that is a good point, and I don't dispute it. I guess to Six's point though, would you not argue that in totality, a white woman just has a little bit more social, I don't know how else of a word to use besides power.
And then I think I get what you're saying, because in society, maybe so. Maybe.
But that's all we can go by, though. It's like societally.
But then at the end of the day, if I say society, you have more power than me, but then if I bed you, then I've actually conquered you. And I conquered you so much now that I've done so much to get you, to pull you from a white man, to have sex with you and all this, especially if you're a bad white chick. You got to think about that. If you're a bad white chick, and I have sex with you and we procreate and you walk around here with my kids and doing all this stuff, I've overcome a lot to do that.
But, and again, I have to stress that.
And hold on. And to go back to this too, white women would be the trophy in America. So if I didn't conquered you and I didn't got money and I didn't got a white woman on my arm and stuff like that, I've won as a black man.
I mean, yes, but also no, because you just said yourself, the minute that you get with that white woman, the white man that you're not you obviously, but the proverbial you, the white man that you're trying to get your get back with, she instantly becomes a woman that he don't want no more, no way. Like she loses her stock and value, which sounds bad, but I'm just saying, if we're being real, she typically wouldn't know well-to-do white men take no Kardashian women seriously. They can only get losers now. Pete, what's the boy? Pete Davidson. Yeah, Pete Davidson, and even the little Scott dude. I know she ain't with him no more, but he's turned into like a complete loser now. Like the white men, they're like billionaires, high-level CEOs. They're not stunning them women because not just because of black men, but just kind of how they went about it. But let's be honest, like that, you kind of lose your stock, I'm sorry, as a white woman when you get with black men, which begs the question, what does that mean about black men, at least in current society? Now, y'all have inherent worth, of course, but I think you've allowed yourselves to be subjugated by your women. And if you really don't think other men notice that, if you don't think white men, Arab men, Latino men, if you don't think they notice that your women literally run the show in all arenas.
I think the world knows that.
Well, I'm just saying it aids to you not being respected enough as men.
I think the thing is that we're starting to see now, like I said, black men are speaking up and black men are, doing podcasts. Black men are having shows. Black men are putting out plenty of content. Black men are not. And the reason I can tell there's a tide changer because every time I get on TikTok, women are saying, where are the men? That's a common theme. If y'all get on TikTok, where are the men? Me and my homegirls, we're going out to dinners and we're going out to birthday parties and we're going out to clubs, and it just seemed like it's nothing but women. We're going out to these mixers and these single events, and there's no men. It's 45 women and 3 men. Like women, like men are now just withdrawing from that. They're not like women love to talk about the decentering men. Men are actually decentering them, and women are asking what's going on. I've had conversations with 3 women, 3. And all of these women are like, I love men. When I got to know them, now it gets to the point where they're saying, I don't want to come off as one of those women that think that they hate men now, but I feel like I hate men now. And I told them, I said, it's because y'all are in a different time to where y'all think that men are supposed to be chasing y'all now. Men understand now men have the power now.
Well, and that's true. And I think that, so I guess that kind of goes against my original point, but the reason why, and I guess to the original point of why I think that this is black men's doing, is because all it would have taken is the same way, because see, y'all are kind of putting your foot down now, but now it doesn't feel genuine. Now it feels spiteful. Had you done it before it got so out of control, it would have felt like sincere help. It would have felt like sincere advice. It would have been like, okay, women, y'all are kind of getting out of control. Here are some things that y'all are starting to do, but you let it go on for so long, and then now it's like, ugh, y'all disgust us. So hell no, we ain't gonna have nothing to do with y'all. We finna go be with this and this woman. It's like, well, damn, like, why y'all ain't saying nothing till now?
I agree. It's like letting the kid go too long. Without
you gotta curb that behavior.
Honestly, I agree with that aspect. I agree with, we just let them be petulant children now, and it is out of spite now. It's like now, when a child is bad, you just wash your hands up. It's like, I don't want to deal with this. I agree. A lot of that is spitefulness. A lot of that is a lot of hurt. A lot of disdain for women nowadays, or black women nowadays. I agree with that whole point. But at the end of the day,
the day got to end.
At the end of the day, if you see that your man now, because let's call it what it is, the only people that's dating black women is who? Black men.
I mean, yeah, I think
so. If your man, your viable dating option is getting spiteful, mean, nasty towards you, wouldn't that mean you need to maybe change your trajectory if you keep getting on these social media sites and asking where the men are?
Well, unfortunately for black women, not only have our men aided in some of our lowering of feelings of self-worth, but society has tried to overcorrect and make us think that we're perfect angels. Like, once again, like how we talked about, you can't criticize black women. Societally, you just can't do that, like, unless it's gonna be career suicide, it's gonna be political suicide. You cannot do it. And even within our own community, in the Black community, you really can't do it. Like, if you do it, you're going to automatically be labeled a misogynist, misogynoir, all this type of stuff. It's like, my God, like, he's just saying, hey, I noticed a lot of Black women are doing this thing. Like, you know, they won't accept correction. So, and the powers that be knew this. They knew when they started pushing this narrative that Black women were just perfect and their men should just worship them. They know that that's not how it works.
So let me ask you a question then. If they knew that this will work, what does that say about Black women, that they could be easily persuaded to do something like this?
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what would have caused Black women, for instance, like you think about the feminism movement. I can't imagine what really caused Black women to go for that the first go round. I really can't.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Okay.
So we always talk about power, and this is my pushback when you say white women are powerful than Black men. I don't think that's necessarily true. And the reason I don't think that's true, I think the white man is more powerful than the Black man, and he's coming to the aid of his woman, right? He would typically come to the aid. So if, let's say a Black man walking down the street, she Emmett Till, oh, he looked at me, you dragged out. But if I know that you dating a guy that's Black, it's not really like, I'm not really coming to your aid because I feel like you like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you do something or you get pointed at, like I said, Emmett Till is a prime example of that. A white man is powerful, so much so that Black men got more rights than white women. Far faster. Voting.
Yeah.
So that lets you know where white men actually thought of their woman when it comes to societal things.
That's a really good point. That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I thought that, but if I'm just looking at it, if I'm thinking that white women have this much power and we white together, I would give my white woman voting rights before you. Why would I give? You know what I'm saying?
I think that came from, and this is going to be very controversial. I think that came from over time. Oh my God, it's going to be so controversial. Okay, I'll just say that I think if not for Black women right now, there would hardly be any racial tension between white and Black people. I don't think Black men.
I think what Black women do keep the racial.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's Black men.
But it's a billion-dollar industry.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. But the point being, though, that the women are the ones that perpetuate this. And I think the men could find some sort of common ground, some sort of mutual respect, even to be like, look, you're a man, I'm a man. We all know what men are supposed to do. We're supposed to protect and provide for our families and our communities. If you're doing that for yours, or even if we live in the same community, okay, if you live in my community or our community, whatever, as long as you're not out here raising no hoodlums and renegades, and we all on the same page about blah, 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 and school stuff, and we don't want transgenders reading to the kids at the daycare or whatever, then you cool with me. I think that's the general consensus amongst the men. And here come the women. For the simple fact, and I'll put it like this, sports. Yes, we can just look at sports. Men get along great. All races of men get along swimmingly. It don't matter if you're white, Black, Troy Polamalu, the only time that is an issue is when you can tell it's a Black man that's more feminine in the mindset. Feminine, that how he was, who raised him, or when you implement the women into it. So when you got your women commentators, your women going to your locker rooms, your women on the sideline, your women referees, your mama's being able to dictate and tell you, like the boy that was supposed to go to Alabama, but he ended up putting the Florida hat on. His mama walked out on him on sign. I'm talking about national television. Right, so those are the type of things where when women get into the mix of things and invade male spaces, it's always going to get muddy. Yeah. Oh, no matter what, it's always gonna get muddy because women, and I don't know why men just don't kick, like even just the what is it, the Fox News with the Joy Reid, that all of that, you know what I'm saying? If you keep women out of these spaces, men get along good. I worked at a plant where it was nothing but men. We had no issues. I'm sure we come in and work, but I worked at plants where there's women there. They fighting, arguing, who having sex with who cheating on who husband don't know about this, who wife don't know. Like it's a whole bunch of drama because women keep up drama. They even talk about like even in schools, how when you got
separated schools where boys in this school and girls in this school, how the boys learning is accelerated, and the girl they still be catty with each other, fighting with each other, doing
I know
all
this
type of stuff.
firsthand. I actually worked at a single gender school once. I worked at an all girls school, and I taught 8th grade. And when I tell you that was some of the most chaotic nonsense I have ever seen. But before I started working that job, I used to sub. And one day I had subbed at the boys' school, and I was a substitute music teacher. So if any of you know, like, remember when you were in school, classes like music and chorus and all that, you kind of, it's a little more laid back and stuff. So you would think that that type of classroom where I don't have any real work to give them, you would think they would have went crazy, wilded out. Not really.
No, and they even showed that when boys are around boys, they're more willing to try stuff because they don't have to worry about the judgment of the women.
For the judgment of the girls,
and
I'm
so
telling you.
That's why I said, like, it's a lot of stuff that they know. It's societal. They know right now. They be talking about education. If you want education to really be something, separate the boys and separate the girls.
Yes, at least if you're not going to separate them by schools, because that can be expensive, at least just have different wings of the building or something. Because I'm telling you, that plays such a huge role. The way that the boys will peacock, basically, you know, they're doing all this silly stuff.
You got studies that show, like, when women are when the boys' testosterone will be a certain level, you put a girl in there, everybody's testosterone then went up. Now everybody mean, but because you got to think about it, when guys, we get along, and that's why women hate bromances.
Oh yeah,
baby, you ain't that funny with me. You ain't that carefree with me. You don't tell me about your feelings with me. Well, baby, you don't understand what it's like to be a man. And then when I tell you, you try to override my feelings with your emotionalism because you're the woman. It'd be crazy for me to tell you. Not gonna
lie, I do be feeling like that. Like, I told my boyfriend, I was like, every time you get around your friends, you liven up, don't you?
You be so jovial. You be like, oh my God, like, this is my boy. We done went through. We done chased girls together. We done got rejected together. We done heartbreak together. His mama died and my mama died. We got so much, and we understand the aspect of just being men, and we could just rest in just the real masculinity. And like I say, men, and like I said, it come from a lot of these single mother raised guys that be like, okay, women ain't gonna be the best because I was raised by a single mother. Not knowing that your mama poisoned you up. Right.
And what's crazy is and once again, shout out again to Six Guys. She talks about this because she has a son. She talks about how she raises him. She's like, look, of course I don't let him get disrespectful. And from what I've ever heard of her son, and the few times I've ever seen him pop up on the show, he seems like a really respectful kid. But she's like, I do allow him to voice his opinion about things in a respectful way. I don't treat him in the way that I probably would a daughter, because I understand that this is a young man and he needs to know the proper interactions and dynamics, because she just recently got married. But before then, she was a single. Okay. But before then, of course, she was a single mother. So all that time, it was just her and her son. She's like, I know that since he doesn't have an active father in his life, he has to know the proper interactions and dynamics between a man and a woman. I'm not supposed to be so authoritative over him. Like, I need to rear and guide him, of course, as a parent. But that kind of, the energy that a lot of Black moms will have sometimes for their sons, she's like, I made it a point to not do that, because he needs to know how to he shouldn't feel scared of Black women.
Right.
And because that fear turns into hatred.
See, the thing is, a lot of Black men grow up to fear Black women and don't have respect for Black men. And that's because you sit under your mama talking about niggas ain't shit, niggas don't do this. And then you wonder why you go to the club and a nigga gets shot 65 times because he stepped on somebody's J's. You don't know how to handle your emotions. Like, I just made a video about this. And this is part of when you have a sick society and men not raising men, and they talk about this all the time, but intimate partner homicide is on the rise. From 2014 to 2023 is on the rise, 22%.
Yikes.
From men killing women, and it's on the rise 30-something% with men killing women with guns. Right? So what that means is, and I tell people this, you have a lot of guys being raised by their single mothers that have no emotional control. And I always tell women, men are a ticking time bomb. It's statistical fact that your threats of being killed goes up more when you're in a relationship with a man.
Okay.
So there's a true statement. And the reason being, in the Black community, I'm going to speak on the Black community, they say violence in the black community is mutual. So it's not like a nigga just haul off and just slap a woman in the face. No.
Oh yeah, them girls be fighting.
Right. So you can see in even just how the women react. So a lot of the stuff in our community is mutual. It's not no, oh, your granddaddy beat your grandmama. No, today, this point in time, it's a lot of men gotta show it gonna get to the point where, babe, I gotta show you I'm a man. Like you get here fighting.
Exactly, because you're not acting like a woman, and so you're testing me. You're challenging me in the way that a man would. Right. You're being aggressive, and your mannerism, your tone, your articulation, all that type of stuff. And of course, women need to understand, honey, that man might just one day turn up on your butt.
Right. And
hey, shout out to World Class. What's going on? And you behave yourself too.
And then you got to think about this, like women too nowadays are so loose. So flip it them out. So I'm gonna go on my girl's trip. You can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. So a lot of men feel slighted. And I tell people, a man's emotions is the most dangerous thing that you could play with as a woman. That's why I tell women, if I had a daughter, baby, make sure you know you want to be there. You got this man saying he loves you, spending money on you and doing all this. I just did a video on my TikTok. On my TikTok, the girl said she saw her daddy shoot her mama, and it's not funny, but she saw her daddy shoot her mama in the back.
My God. And
she said that was the day she vowed not to cheat, because she said she understood, because she said my dad used to go to work, she had designer, she had everything a woman could want, and then she ended up cheating. And I tell people, it's sad to the point now that when you are in a relationship, and we're just talking about black relationships, if you treat a woman with respect, a black woman with respect, it's deemed as lame, it's deemed as corny, it's deemed as you a simp.
And she's gonna take advantage of you.
And she got to take advantage of you, right? And so even so much so, you have people like Asian Doll. Talk about, if a nigga don't have 3 bodies, I'm not gonna date him. What kind of nonsense is to say?
But you know what I think that is? What? Of course, it's complete stupidity. But I think it comes from the fact that our culture is so perverse that it comes from the natural inclination of a woman to want a man to exercise strength and to exercise maybe even brute strength, to be somebody that you know could be a warrior in times of need. But unfortunately, in the black community, that translates to friendly fire all the time.
Well, let me ask you this. Why when a black woman gets with a white dude, typically it's like a dork, like Serena Williams' husband? You ain't physically look like nothing.
You said when a black woman gets with a white dude?
With a white dude. Why does it seem like it could be the most corniest, lamest, like Eve, her husband? Mm-hmm. Like the criteria or the request that black women have for black men to be in a relationship is always seen that we got to jump over hurdles. But when it comes to other races of men, it seems like...
Hold on, Sid. You're saying 2 different things. They are lame, but they rich as hell. So those are pretty high standards. Those are pretty powerful
I'm going to say something. People got to... And most people will agree with what I say. They rich. True. But... it ain't, you could be rich all you want to. If the sex and stuff ain't right, the chemistry ain't right, that only gonna go so far. We the same time and time again, people be like, damn, y'all got all the money, y'all travel, y'all doing all this, y'all can't stay together. And then you ask yourself, well, who's gonna come after that person?
Well, I think the same can be said for black men when they date outside their race. It's like black women have to be damn near perfect, but here comes Becky.
Seriously. Let me
finish my point. Okay. I'm so serious. Let me finish it. Keep your thought. When it's a white woman, all I ever wanted was just somebody I can just laugh with and be myself and have fun. So you wasn't laughing and being yourself and having fun with the black women?
I knew you was going. No, we was not. No. We just had a whole conversation about when men and women get together, when the men over here and they bromance, they get to be that way. I've literally seen, and it just was funny, but I've seen where I've known guys, black men, to date black women. Then they outside already matter if it's like Hispanic or white, and always they skin brighten up.
They just get better,
I'm just being, and it's not me just throwing just pulling some out my ass. I've literally seen black men who have dated black women and dated outside of their race, and it just seems like they're just so lax. They don't seem like they're walking on eggshells or pins and needles. It seems like, hey, I could be a man. I could just be who I am. I could talk about anime with her. Just remember, just think about it. If I'm a black man that like anime was considered lame.
Well, what about being a black woman that likes anime? Because that type of thing happens too.
So that's a new phenomenon right now. And you know why that's a new phenomenon? What happens at Halloween? What happens at Halloween? All the girls that like anime now is half naked now, wearing anime clothes now. Because let's be real, a lot of stuff when women come into these spaces, they just sexualize it. Most women, and then you got to understand this, most women, especially black women, and I'm gonna say something controversial, and I thought about this long and hard. The reason that a lot of times a lot of black men have to throw their hands up with, just coming down the line of stuff. Most black women are whores.
Jesus.
And and the reason I say that most black women are whores is not just on no crazy shit. It's because people love to say, especially black women, love this talking point. We still dealing with trauma from slavery.
For sure.
Most of y'all was bred during slavery.
I mean,
most of y'all wasn't doing nothing but laying on y'all back, breeding the biggest buck.
Oh dear
God! I'm not lying. They have breeding forms.
You know what?
So hold on.
Bring up. Go ahead.
Then we have people like Sukiana come out and say, "I come from a long line of whores." I remember my grandmama popping, coochie, and she say this like Sukiana is the realest person, but you will miss the stuff that she say. She said, I was in a slow class. I come from, and you could tell she probably was in slow class. She said, I come from a long line of whores. My grandma was a whore. My mama was a whore, and I'm a whore.
No, seriously, guys, I think this brings up a really good point that I can honestly say I have never considered. Is now, I've known him long enough to know that he's being a little cheeky. I know you mean what you're saying, but more so how you're saying it. When you say that black women are whores.
Yes, I
agree with what you're saying, that when it comes to our history, is that literally, because they've already proven that trauma can be passed down through your DNA. Yes, so the mental, you know what I'm saying, whatever mentally that you had, whatever place you had to mentally go to and get to as a black woman, for that overseer to slither up inside of you and for you to do this to preserve your life. Okay, so preserve the life of your children even.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If black women was getting RAPE like that back during slavery, why do you see them flock and do things to get the attention of white men nowadays?
Well, that's no different than the other side.
No.
The white women, I keep wanting to call you Darren for some reason. Said, now you know full well, you done watched 12 Years a Slave now. You know full well it was the white women. They was jealous of them black women. They would, if they saw their man even give a second glance to that black woman, they want him to beat her harder, work her harder. And so the same way that you as a black man,
you having sex with a man, that ain't nothing about jealousy.
I'm saying like you as a black man, the same way that you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. I'm saying the white women would also have something to say about just the whole thing of slavery. They enjoyed watching their men exercise power over y'all. So the same way you could say, why as a black woman would you subject yourself to this with a white man? It's the same way with y'all. Why would you go and be with a white woman when you know full well they sat courtside with popcorn to watch you getting beat to death and raped even sometimes, and they basically encouraged it and enjoyed it.
Okay, so on the flip side of that, I'm having sex with my oppressor's woman. I can literally. That's why in Mississippi,
if you're asking who wins in that situation, of course the man wins.
Okay, so right, but like I was saying, in Mississippi burning, why they cut that man penis off?
I didn't see it.
Okay, so Mississippi burning, they cut the black man penis off. They cut the black man penis off. Why you think they got abortion in you can literally go on the Planned Parenthood app and look where they got abortion clinics at. They're literally in the middle of black neighborhoods and walking distance of brown neighborhoods. So that lets you know the genocide.
Yeah.
Statistically, this is a fact. Black men have more testosterone than any other man. Facts. You can look it up. So when we talk about what that means, if I get your woman and I breed you out of that.
But then your kids don't look like you. Like ever.
Why they don't?
Said. They may share some features technically, but they look so milked out and so like blurred out that those kids rarely ever look like their dads. And I feel like that's not a win. And I'm not trying to even be dramatic. I'm serious. I feel like as a man, you should want your kids to be the spitting image of you. You should want them. And if you don't, I think that says something about you, why you would not want your lineage to mirror yourself.
I think this. If I got time to conquer and take your woman and you done something, and right now I can't.
Don't nobody want them swamp rabbits. The only time y'all getting high quality, y'all getting high quality white women is when you are millionaires. And guess what? Even then, those be dummies. You talking about these little NBA dudes?
Why they dummies?
They literally be dumb. Even Brittany Renner talked about this. She said, "I love dating these athletes. So they be dumb as hell."
The athletes be dumb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they be dumb.
So I'm saying like that. So where are the even? Let's be honest. The real high quality black men don't even do that. Real high quality black men don't usually be with white women. The rich black men are not necessarily high quality.
Name
somebody like Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, people like even Ben Carson. Those are men that are respectable men in their crafts and their fields. They've been out of scandal. Even somebody like LeBron James, he got like, and I just say him because I love LeBron's fan, but I'm just saying like. So most of the time, I think when it's those really high quality black men, the ones that once again stay out of.
What Clarence Thomas we want?
I'm not sure if he married to a black woman. I'm not sure.
He's married to a white woman.
I mean, I do respect Clarence Thomas, but I'm not saying it always happens. I'm just saying it's not as.
What about Frederick Douglass? He was married to a white woman. I'm just saying, like you can give me all of these names, but I can equally the high class black men.
I mean, is it not fair for Frederick Douglass? Does it not stand to reason that as smart as he was, and all the things he accomplished, and how he freed himself, all those types of things, does it not stand to reason that he still was affected by what he had experienced, and he may be experiencing some sort of Stockholm syndrome?
Could be. I don't know anybody's mental state. So
I'm just saying, like, I think that stands to reason. I think like that's probably a reasonable conclusion to reach. Like, I can't imagine why you, as a black man who was a slave, who witnessed the dynamics between, white women and yourself, the fact that even just looking at this woman could get you beaten even harder or whatever else. And I feel like that weird sort of like thrill that you would get out of the fact that you could lose your life for this sexual access to this woman. And then, mind you, especially in today's society, for the last 50, 60 years, certainly, white women, and I'm going to be honest with you, I did not used to be this person. White women really do, in as much as could be expected, they really do kind of want to be us. Let me explain. I did not know how popular self-tanner was. I really thought these women was just out here like with olive kind of skin tones. These women be pasty as hell, and they hate it. They literally love. I watched a video of a white woman put a shade of makeup on. That's the shade of said right now on everything on my dad.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are they trying to be black women, or is this pasty skin?
They just like the visage of it. They believe that black skin is beautiful. I sincerely believe that.
Let me ask you a question. Are they trying to be black women, like black women, or does this pasty skin look bad?
They want to look darker, and they're also. I'm going to add on. They also want to take on some of our mannerisms and speech, our lingo. You watch TikTok, you get on the internet. All these white women doing all these little dances and stuff, and all this. They don't do that. They wouldn't do that if they weren't trying to emulate black women.
So let me ask you a question. I'm asking again. Are they trying to be like black women, or they just?
I think they're trying to be like black women without the struggle and without the other stuff that comes along with it.
I personally, this is my personal opinion. I don't think white women, when they get tans, are trying to look like black women, because typically when they get tans, to me, they still look like.
They get lip filler.
I've been seeing black women get lip filler. Your Aries, your Jada Waiters, all a lot of black women get lip filler too.
Okay, they just want their lips to be more plump.
We can go down the list of your IG black baddies, your black Chinas. Then this is another thing, and so I'm just gonna blow it out the water. Black women, I was talking about they have the best bodies, and the white women trying to emulate them. Who the main people that down trying to get BBLs and the body augmentations? Because if you really just around black women and see them, a lot of black women don't have no fat asses like that.
Well, nowadays we don't because we just be fat all over and it don't be shaped right and stuff.
I'm just saying, like, if you just pay attention, this is an observable reality. You're right. A lot of black women are overweight. A lot of them big as hell, but even still, they don't even have the proportion, even with getting bigger, to show that you got a big ass or a nice breast or your body is tight. I'm just saying this might be controversial, but you can look at it. So when you talk about when I look at Dr. Miami, I'm watching Dr. Miami on Snapchat. Most of the people come in as black women.
For sure.
Getting their ass. I'm just
well,
saying,
and guess how that go back to our original point. Those black women are getting these unrealistic ass body types to impress a lot of black men. And if y'all would not,
I think it's just a trend. I don't think it's to impress black men.
They are literally investing in themselves. That is their way of investing in themselves.
So how many? Just regular people that ain't got BBLs, right?
I do, but they really believe that was going to boost them in some way.
Okay, but we can see right now. Let's just be real. Most of the times when you see women do that, it's just a trend. Just like we all hear the women saying demur now. Everybody hear the women saying demur. But now you ain't gonna go and say, "Oh, she trying to act black." No, it's just a trend right now. When you see the women out, now y'all get on TikTok and y'all see everybody that they get. When you go on TikTok, you're gonna see millions. I don't care what race. Middle finger to my head as I be, and then it's the Glorilla part when she's saying the fuck you part, and they holding their lip, they say fuck you. When she said it's so many, like it's a trend, and you know this. Women follow trends. Women are the easiest people to manipulate.
Why ain't no Taylor Swift trend that's that pervasive? And you know I can't stand Glorilla. But at the end of the day, she is a black woman. And there's a whole bunch of white women doing her shit. Not a bunch of black women doing white women shit.
What you mean?
As far as like cultural stuff. The only thing here's where black women messed up. And I wanted to make this point earlier too.
Okay, go ahead.
With the hair. So straight hair, the reason why straight hair is as, pervasive as it is for black women is because if we wore our natural hair and being as big as a lot of us are, it would not look right. Natural hair on a fit trim woman is usually very beautiful. But that little bit of hair, that little curliness, you know what I'm saying? It's only coming about right here. You know what I'm saying? You 300 pounds, it don't look right. So that hair be like a security blanket. It literally lengthens them out.
Y'all, let's be real. Y'all didn't really just start getting big into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. So hold on. We was out before then. Y'all was wearing wigs.
It was, but we weren't wearing them to the extent that we wear now, like wigs
because
and stuff.
Became a trend. Women follow trends, so it's popular. Even so much so when women wear a weave now, you have to wear your weave or your 30-inch bust down because you don't want to seem like a broke bitch. That's what. There's a lot of women feel that way.
Yeah, I say a lot of crazy women.
Okay, so yes, I'm. That's why when they get the hair, who broke and they in the mirror brushing, bitch. They said even your hair.
Exactly.
But they in the mirror. Who broke here? Who brought? I got all. You know what I'm saying? Women follow trends, and so much so you can look at this. Even and I'll be trying not to say stuff, and I say it bluntly, and people get upset when I say it. But even women's IQ, most women IQ are the same. If you look at the IQ chart, most women IQ is it's just like this, but most of your women are right here. When you have most people's IQ in the same level, that's why it's easy to hit a target. If everybody grouped together, I can hit a bunch of y'all. That's why when you look at the man's IQ, it's more sloped a little bit longer because the men's IQ range is a lot different ranges. And that's why you have a lot more different types of men than you do women. That's why when you talk about, that's why I said.
That's why I have such a hard time because most women are so like, they're all the exact same. So here comes somebody like me that's speaking a different tune, singing a different song. I am instantly ostracized. They're like, what is this? We've never heard, like, who you an outsider.
Right.
Like you said.
Hold on. And then going back to weave. And when you talk about you're doing it because of the look and you don't think 300 pounds, like I said, first of all, y'all just got big in 2000. That's because the food, hormones, all that shit, right? And
we also don't work out. White women get up at 5 a.m. and go run.
Well,
especially the ones that make as much money as black women make. If you met a white woman that made as much money as some of these black women are making today, there's no way, because it's just like the culture. Like my boyfriend talks about this a lot. Like He's like, man, I like this. I'm glad to see more black women are starting to go to the gym. He said, but it's still not enough, y'all. Like he said, every time I go to the gym, them white girls, they be in there. They be in there on their fitness. That is not popular in the black community. It's just not.
Yeah, and when you talk about fitness, a lot of I'm gonna say this. It's a culture. You gotta think about this. Genetically, black women didn't have to work out. Not saying y'all had the crazy about it the most, but just genetically, if you go look at people over in Africa, most of them are pretty slim. They be eating food and shit. They're just naturally slim. They out there in the sun. You got to think about this. Most people are vitamin D deficient. That helps. That switch away too. Most of us, black people, are supposed to be outside. We working in warehouses, office jobs, and stuff. So there's a lot of things that's taking us out of our natural habitat that contribute to a lot of stuff, us gaining weight and shit, right?
Yeah.
Then the thing is, from slavery, we picked up all of the bad habits, all the leftover scraps and the meats and trying to make, what we call a Southern cuisine now, soul food. So we got to the point where we weren't portioning our food right. We was eating bad stuff. We didn't came in the house, everybody in the house, everybody working under the roof. So it's a lot of stuff that contributed to women being big. So it's not really, they didn't have to do that. Working out wasn't something that you needed to do because, like I said, you were naturally able to just shed the pounds. You weren't gonna get big genetically. Now with all the food and all the sexual trauma, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the reason a lot of women are big because they have a sexual trauma.
Yeah. Six talks about that all the time.
But the most of that, like I said, that's what I believe. I think a lot of women just get big. And I ain't never heard her talk about it. It's just something that just honestly,
that's definitely a real thing.
Right. And even when you watch like My 600-Pound Life, they always talk about, I had a sexual trauma. I gained this weight. And I think that's what a lot of black women are suffering from because sometimes they don't want to be wanted or they eat themselves to try to cope. Comfort.
Definitely the comfort from the food. And then also this subconsciously trying to make themselves unattractive to repel the attention from men.
Right. Okay. So back to weave. I got to finish this point. Black men have been saying, hey, y'all black men that's in the comment section, y'all put yeah name. We've been pleading for black women to go natural. I think this is where a good starting point for black men to try to hone in on to get your woman back to you.
You're going to have to show the action. You're going to have to actually start. You can't say that you want black women to do something, but then reward the ones that do not do that. You can't say you want natural hair women, but then y'all are always chasing behind the Instagram baddie with a 30-inch bust down.
Hold on. Nobody's chasing. No, y'all always go back to, why do y'all use Instagram? If I like an Instagram model, this is a sexual, fleshly behavior. I just want to smash her. We talking about having families, wives, somebody I can have on my arm. I'm not trying to be on the Instagram with a chick with a 30-inch bust down with lip fillers and high cheekbones and crazy eyes.
I understand, and I believe you, but
that is not real.
For us women, we don't interpret it that way. I'm telling you.
Women follow trends. So when you see a lot of men doing this, y'all think that's what men like. Y'all go and get the same thing and then wonder why you don't get the same results as an RL. You grab a money bag, and now you on the red carpet or he got you in the music video. No, those type of men look for those type of women because they're in a music or an industry where they have to be a spectacle, so they need their woman to be a spectacle. Yes, I'm the biggest, baddest man right now. I'm the top of my rap game. Yes, my woman didn't spend $100,000 on her body. She got this big old fake ass. She finna be twerking, and I'm finna show the world that I was able to get a woman that looked like this. But if we're talking about marriage, the people that you mentioned, Denzel Washington, what his wife look like, Samuel Jackson, what his wife look like. Like, if we talking about like the men that's actually out here that got the money to actually go and pull your Instagram women, they not getting those women. Most men want something simplistic.
Yeah.
Simplistic. So much so, even when it comes to sex, some men don't even want their woman to do certain sexual acts that this might sound crazy. I know a lot of women ain't gonna agree.
It definitely sounds crazy coming from you because you always talk about.
But some women, this is gonna sound crazy, but some men don't even want to see their women perform a sexual act or be in certain sexual states, because he don't want to view her different to the point where he will go outside and dog another woman out sexually, because most men want see that woman wholesome, see that woman as their woman. You don't want to see a woman in a certain kind. I don't personally care, but it's a lot of men I've had conversations with like that. And so when we having these type of conversations, when men say, "Hey, I want a woman with natural hair," I've been seeing a lot of women with locks. Like my wife has locks.
Yeah,
my wife has locks. I'm dating her. I was with her when she had a low, tennis ball cut. I said, "Baby, I don't really like the tennis ball cut. Can you grow your hair?" She said, "Well, what you thinking?" I said, I would like some locks. You can do locks. It's easy to upkeep. I know you're not good with your hair, but do that." That's what she did. I'm attracted to that. She looks really good with locks. I think it's beautiful. I think locks are actually one of the styles that black women could.
Oh, it's a cheat code because it makes your hair grow like a weed. It don't take no time for your hair to get long.
Then that goes back to you said that your hair down here. A lot of black women aren't taught to take care of their hair properly because it's crazy. Soon as you get locks, your hair down your back.
Exactly.
You know how much longer your hair would be if it wasn't locked up too? So if you hair down your back when you get locks, now all of a sudden, but when your hair was straight, it stopped under by your ears. That's because what they say, my hair used to be long until my mama put a perm in it. It's because you're not taking care of your hair properly. All that perm, all them chemicals, all the hot combs burning the back of your neck, frying your hair out. No, you're not supposed to be doing none of that. Your hair can grow.
And it comes from just a general lack of self-acceptance, like just that not being happy with what you see in the mirror. Now, I feel like I agree with everything you're saying. And I'm never a devil's advocate person, but I do feel like as a black woman who used to experience some of these things, I went through a time where it really felt like our men had completely turned their backs on us. Like there would be nothing that we could do.
In the time you're talking about the now, because I feel like black men now.
Well, I have a good black man now, so I don't feel that way anymore.
Okay.
But if I was still single, I imagine I would probably still feel like that. But yeah, just this idea that it's like, well, damn, like, okay, what about, so are you really going to say there aren't any good black women? There aren't any ones that fit your boxes, that your criteria? And once again, a lot of the ones that'll say that when they go date otherwise or elsewhere, it be like they be all right, but I don't think it was nothing worth writing home about to where you had to dog your whole entire race of women. Like that's wild.
I'm gonna say something. Excuse me. Women follow trends. If I see you turning up and buying sexy red gonorrhea lip gloss, if I see you,
just supporting it in any way.
But this is when I knew we was lost. So, last year I was going to the HBCUs doing street interviews, right? So I went to a Sexy Red concert and I'd have been to a Glorilla concert, right? Why y'all got little girls 8 years old twerking the Sexy Red in the concert? Why y'all got girls younger than this at this concert? This is coming generationally. So when we talking about this is something that is so pervasive in our culture. It didn't already permeated to the next generation. We talking about you done seen videos where you done seen 2-year-old girls having little birthday parties and all of them twerking the Sexy Red and Glorilla.
And someone's recording it and uploading it to the internet.
And you got to think about it. Why would you want to put your daughter, forget it's the parent aspect, but what about the pervs and the creeps seeing a 2-year-old gyrating and doing all that? See, this is when we had these conversations, because you said this, and I asked you. You said black men need to put black women in check, and I'm saying, how do you do that?
Well, first of all, you have to be in your own homes. So if that little girl's dad actually was with her mom, then he could have some say in what goes on with her.
Well, if you could weaponize the court system against me and the police against me, then how can I be there?
Yeah, the only way you can be and I understand women do that all the time. I've made several videos about it, but the only way you can have that happen to you is if you decide that you are not going to that you're not going to marry and build a family and a life with the woman that you have children with. The second that you say, well, I just knocked you up and I don't want to be with you, then you start these wheels in motion. But if you say, damn, okay, I didn't really mess with her like this, but she is pregnant. This is my child, so I gotta do something maybe that's a little uncomfortable. I can learn to love this person.
But does that make for a good relationship?
At the end of the day, all relationships have sacrifice and growth periods. I don't always feel like I like my man all the time, but I love him, respect him.
I agree. I agree with the sacrifice part, but a lot of people, let's be real, a lot of people know they're not supposed to be together. Even if you say, okay, I got this one pregnant, I don't want my child to be raised up in a broken home. I want to do what I need to do, but man, this person is toxic. It's called
go to counseling, go to therapy.
Ain't no counseling, ain't no therapy. Because I personally believe in counseling and therapy like that. But that's my personal opinion.
I know for a fact that therapy can be successful. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
And this is personal, but it's not like too personal. Because look, somebody told me I'm playing devil's advocate. I knew it was gonna happen. And I knew somebody was gonna come on here and not know me from a can of paint and think I'm a feminist. And they can't possibly know how many anti-feminist videos I made. But anyway. So like my boyfriend and I, I felt like he and I both felt like we were having some issues with communication. And so I found this app and it has like these little daily like challenges or whatever.
Hold on. Hold that thought. Read that comment because I'm gonna talk about
Okay, so he says, is she still playing devil's advocate because she's talking feminist 101? Because I'm married and I'm telling you the black marriage divorce rate is wild. My married friends divorcing left and right.
I got some married friends divorcing.
Well, why do you think that's the case? Even though I didn't finish my point about the therapy.
Go back to the therapy.
No, I was just saying that the app has really, really helped us, even in just the last few days, because it has like these sort of kind of probing questions. It helps you to think about things that are important and say things like, just little stuff on there. Yeah. And it's a type of therapy. It's like a kind of like a couples therapy app, and it really has done wonders for us. Like in a way that no conversation we ever had has helped. So I just think that it can be useful. But why do you think your friends are divorcing?
One of them, he might be watching. Well, one of them was a struggle love situation. She fell on hard times. They were smashing. He moved her in. They kept smashing. He's like, I like this person. She's cool here. They end up getting married. They've been married about 10 years now. This is 2015. They've been married 10 years. Married 10 years now, and now they're getting divorced. Another reason why they're getting divorced is because he wants children. I don't think she can have children. She's also older than him. He's my age, and I think she's like 40. So it's a lot of factors that go into play with that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that goes to why is it, and I seriously mean this when I ask this, why do when we have these conversations, if a woman had done this exact same thing, married someone that she knew she wasn't compatible with, married a person that couldn't have kids when she knew she wanted them, married somebody that, I forgot what the first thing you said was.
Struggle.
Okay, yes, finances or whatever, knew that the person would not be down to ride, and if things happen, you would say, well, you shouldn't have married him. But then when it's a man, it's, well, hey, you only took vows in front of God and your family and friends, and you only said that you would be with this person until death do you part, even in the midst of hard times, even in the midst of finances, and then you get to walk out.
You got what I said just then is it's okay for them to leave?
No, I'm saying, why do you feel like it's okay for him to leave?
I didn't.
Because your demeanor would suggest that you understand why he's leaving.
No, I think my demeanor came off like that. Is because I felt like these two people should have gotten married from the start.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, hearing them get divorced, like,
okay.
I knew this was going to happen because these are two people that the situations, how they got together was going to lead to divorce.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, okay, they're getting divorced. I understand it. It's sad, but.
You felt like it was inevitable?
It was inevitable.
So.
And I think a lot of people get into relationships where divorce is inevitable. And I don't know why a lot of people do that to themselves. I think people literally know I'm going to marry this person. I don't want to do it. I got cold feet. So man, I'm 100% right. We're going to get divorced, but they go through it anyway. I really do think people know in the back of their mind they get divorced.
Well, that's
before they even get married. That might sound crazy. I really do think that people know that they're going to get divorced.
So
it's like throwing shit at the wall. It's like, oh, it did work, it worked. Like no, and then like I said.
But the thing is though, like why? Because even just being in a committed relationship like I've been, and not married, but in a committed relationship, and the stuff that we've gone through, even where I thought there's no way we can make it through this. Like there's no way that we can wake up tomorrow and it be okay after this fight. But somehow it is every single time. And I feel like that has to be kind of to some point typical in marriage, especially long ones. Like those things have to happen sometimes. And I guess I'm just making the point to say, don't all relationships go through those things where, so why do you feel like in that case, theirs was so toxic that they couldn't overcome it?
Honestly, I don't think they necessarily had a toxic relationship. I don't think it was like no fighting. I don't think it was no fussing or nothing like that. I just think these two people were so different, so opposite. So to the point where I'm gonna give you an example, and I hope this nigga ain't
right.
I'm gonna give you an
like
example.
damn, said let me tell my business.
I'm gonna give you an example. So my friend is outgoing.
The guy. Okay.
His wife, not so much so. So to the point where we would go out, she would just sit in the corner, not talk, not interact.
Ooh, it's so not me.
Right. So she would do that. Or like we had a game night at our house, right? And one of my wife's single friends was there, and he was having a conversation with her, and they were like flirting. Like
your wife's friend, your wife's guy friend, and the woman were flirting.
No, my homeboy and my wife's female friend was flirting.
Oh,
while his wife was sitting, like it's like this a table, it's a round table. It's him, my wife's friend, and his wife. They having a conversation and they flirt so much she hits him. Like she like stop. Like it's a
that's embarrassing.
Right. And so the friend looks at everybody and we look and we turn away like this, like we see like
I can imagine how embarrassing that was.
And and they never been back to our house after that. He came, but she ain't been back. He been in my house about three more times after that. But after that happened, they never came back as a couple. Then the last time he came, he said he thought that he seen her in the car with another guy. So we get the probe. I said, you thought you seen her in the car with another guy? He was like, yeah, I thought I seen her in the car with another guy. I said, well, did you pull up on her? He was like, well, I couldn't pull up on her. I said, why couldn't you pull up on her? He was like, well, I was on the highway. I was going this way. She was going that way. I said,
now, how you really thought that you seen somebody from the other side?
Side of the freeway. I said, oh yeah, I know this. Well, you trying to find the issue,
right?
Now. I'm like, oh, you definitely trying to find the issue now. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I understand a lot of people don't have the work when you talk about, and this is just simple. I think a lot of black men take on the risk of being with black women because black men have been married twice as much as black women. That's a statistical fact.
Yeah. No, I know that we're the least married demographic of people in this country.
But just think about this. But your counterpart is married twice as much as more than you. So that lets you know that black men want to be married. Black men want family. Black men want family with y'all. Black men still marry black women at 88% of the time. So when we having these conversations, I don't care what you see on the internet about what the Eagles team looks like with the black men and the white women. Yeah, that's fine and dandy, but for the most part, most people want to be with people that look like them. Black men want black women. Black men have been saying for the first time for eons now, hey, I like you with your natural hair, baby. I want to see you look like you. Did
you see what's her name? Jessie Wu?
Yeah.
Where she was like, you didn't see what she said,
oh, he broke if
he broke if he wants to see you in your natural state.
That was just a podcast clip. She can't possibly.
Well, she doubled down on it though. Like she did a different segment where she basically said the same thing and kind of said it in a different way. But basically, this idea that men who basically she was coming at that angle that women will do so. Thank you so much, Choose Wisely. You guys are on it tonight. And then I feel bad because it's because of setup. I told him before I got here, I said, I know I'm gonna start having more success doing my shows here because it's a nice setup. And of course, y'all need to give his flowers because it's such a nice setup.
Y'all just go and follow my page, Political
I would say he gonna be good with y'all just following the page for right now because he's still building the channel up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought. I ain't got good memory. Oh yeah. So she was coming from that angle of a man shouldn't be trying to steal your shine. Mm-hmm. And I want y'all to know, like y'all men and any women listens, I want y'all's opinion about this because I don't believe it at all, but you would be surprised how many people believe this. They really believe that that's like a trait of narcissism when men will say things like, well, I don't really like when you're all dolled up all the time or whatever. Like basically that's their way of trying to like
strip you down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
believe that?
There could be some truth in that.
Okay, so how does that differentiate from the point you just made?
It could be some truth in that, but that's not the overarching. It's not like majority of men. I think majority of black men. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all want me to tell y'all something crazy, and I said this in one of my videos. I said, you know what's crazy? Y'all know the hotep women, the waist bead women, the women that's Egyptology and the Kemet women. Y'all know those women. They were the ones that talk about, yeah, they knocked the nose off the Sphinx so they couldn't tell they was black, but then go contour their nose to look European. How can you do that?
How can
you
do
said
it?
They knocked the nose off the Sphinx so they wouldn't tell that the pyramids was black people, but then you contour your nose to look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't, y'all, one minute you saying something, and the other minute you're doing something different. This is the reason 782 why women can't be taken serious. Like you're talking out of different sides of your neck, because I've seen black men date black women with natural hair.
Yeah.
And then what's even crazy, and this is just the logic of it when you interracial date. If you ever notice when people, even though black women wear like weaves and stuff, a lot of that is to attract white men, right? But when they get with white men, you ever notice they wear natural hair?
Now, see, this one of them times where you have got to stop doing this. You cannot tell a black woman why she's doing something any more than I can tell you.
So let me.
I do not believe that at all.
I'm gonna push back on what Jazz is saying. Y'all, black men, if you on this comment section, when black men have said something about weave and makeup, have you not heard black women say, we don't do it for y'all?
But then they proceed to say,
then who do you do it for?
We're actually doing it for other women. We're doing it to stun on other women. And
well, that go back to my point about, you don't want to be seen like the broke bitch either, because you don't want. That's why you in the mirror combing your hair too. That's the other facet. But in the other facet, if you're not attracting women or trying to stun on another woman, you got to have what's the attraction?
Do you know I'm not backing up on my point from 15 minutes ago where I said that more black women will wear their hair natural if we weren't so heavy? I'm telling you, because like that hair,
y'all just got heavy though.
But
you've been wearing weave since the 90s.
But we also used to wear our hair a lot more back then too, though. We would go get our hair pressed and combed out, but it would be our hair. But as far as these
what
long
happened to the Nia Long
and
pixie cuts?
That's what I'm saying. And Nia Long was snatched. Do you really think she would still look that good with that short hair if she was old girl that came out that car?
Okay, this is my pushback to what you're saying. So you saying because women are bigger, they gotta wear weave.
It feels more secure.
It feels more secure. That weave ain't gonna hide that big ass body.
It's not, but I promise you, there's an aesthetic to it.
The weave ain't gonna hide
you
the big
know
body.
Full well if you saw a big girl and she had a dang on teeny weeny afro, aka TWA,
she look like a mammy.
She would look a mess. But when she get that, now when she do the baby hair and stuff, it look crazy, it's gonna look bad. But if she mess around and get a good wig or a good weave, it instantly makes her look about 2-3 points higher. And you're lying if you say otherwise. You're lying if you say otherwise.
No, I wouldn't say it, man, because I don't like weave, period.
What if it was just long enough to where you couldn't tell it was weave, but not as short as her natural hair?
So let me say this. It's very rare that I see a woman, very rare, because I really study women. It's rare that I see a woman that can trick me with her hair. I'm telling it's rare.
Well, that's because black women don't wear. See, do you know my boyfriend did not know that white women wear hair extensions? I had to show him. Hold on. That they have been wearing that forever, even when we were in high school.
Agree. I'm not even going to disagree. You know what the issue is? Why
they wear it textured to match their hair, and that's what I was going to get at. Black women will not do it. I'm like, guys, they have a whole market of hair.
That black woman that be cooking. The dark skin with that married.
Yes.
That lady fine. She be wearing big afros.
It be hair pieces
that look like her hair.
But it looks like it's her hair. And I just don't get it. I've talked about it so many times. I'm like, y'all, we are missing the cheat code with this. Like, even braids. I think braids is even like a good cheat code.
And black men, because we think that's part of the culture. Those are things that we say, well, ain't nobody else rocking braids. Black women got it cool. Like when black
and when you wear braids, your scalp is exposed, so it doesn't look the same. Like when you wear a wig, it's like you're wearing a hair hat. Yeah. Like you literally just have this thing just sitting on your head.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Even and that I've talked about this before too. There's some things that men don't know about when it comes to women's cosmetics. The same way I'm sure with y'all, like I know y'all get the spray, some of y'all like to fill it, but I wouldn't know really unless I was really looking hard.
Some of them get bad.
Some of them get a little reckless, but if you get a good job done, I think it would just look like you crispy, and I would, especially from across a room, I wouldn't be like,
yeah,
then they got that Beijing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. So yeah, I just feel like a lot of us don't help ourselves out, and I think that's
the issue too. Attractiveness is it really come with like hair. Well, attitude is one of the things that I think a lot of black men, like I told you, I've seen black men date black women, then date another race, light up, skin lighten up. It's just indicative of I was in a bad relationship, walking on eggshells, can't be myself. So I'm drinking more. I'm not taking care of myself as much. I'm worried about what this woman has to say about me 24/7. Nobody wants to be under that type of scrutiny all the time, right? So if you feel like you could be yourself, especially, you got to think about this, and it goes back to this. If you date somebody outside of your race, they don't know what it's like or what you have to do to be a black man. So if I'm dating a white woman, her idea of what a black man is, I can make it up.
Well, it's the same with the black woman, though. That's why you said, why when y'all get with the white dudes, you wear your hair natural? Well, he probably understands and know that my hair ain't, he know my hair ain't.
You know why you probably wear your natural hair? Because logically, I'm with you because you're black. If I want a white girl,
exactly. So she doesn't feel that pressure. So somebody got to be lying. Not the black men or the black women, but somebody that's pulling our puppet strings. Somebody has to be lying to perpetuate this narrative that our men are only going to be attracted to us if we wear our hair, straight, not texture that's natural to us, not just our own hair, period, or whatever.
But no, black men ain't told y'all that.
I'm not saying you ever said that. I'm saying that
y'all said y'all don't do it for us.
But where does that come from? And I think today it's reinforced. Now, where it started from, I don't know, but I think it's reinforced by, again, I know to you, and I've had this conversation with my man, y'all really do not, and I've had this conversation with my other homeboy, so I know this must be true because y'all all very different men. Y'all all say that there's nothing to the concept of liking a girl's picture. Like, to you, it's just like, I just like the whole picture. But for us women, that's really something to us. Like, it's a proclamation of adoration. And since
this is a light bulb just came on my head. Do you know why men don't communicate with women?
Who knows what you finna say? Why?
I just told you what it meant for me, and you gonna tell me what it means for you.
I'm telling you, that's why we perceive it that way.
Listen to how profound what I just said to you. I said, do you know why men do not communicate with women? I told you what something means to me, but you still finna sit here and tell me what it means to you, and how it feels to you trumps what I just told you it means for me. I told you I just like the bitch pictures because I like the bitch pictures. I would probably fuck the bitch. But then you saying, well, it's got to be a proclamation that you like such and such, so women gonna perceive and internalize. No, but I just told you right here what it is. Don't move over there to take your feelings and how you feel and trump what I just told you.
Well, every woman wants to feel genuinely adored by her man. So if the women that he's showing his adoration for look nothing like you, that's going to cause you a little bit of dissonance. We're still human at the end of the day.
We are human, but you know how crazy it would be for me, because I guarantee you, and this is just me, I've seen some of my wife's exes.
They don't look anything like you?
We don't look alike. I don't feel, it's never been a time I've been like, oh my God, I don't look like this nigga right here or that nigga.
But is she currently going out of her way to show that those are the type of men that she is currently attracted to?
I don't know what she do. I don't really follow my wife on social media like that.
I'm saying, but maybe in a different way. Like maybe if she's not big on social media, like if y'all are out in public, do you ever catch her
like gazing at somebody else?
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't take that. So that is the equivalence of that.
But even if she did, I wouldn't care. And if
how do you know it hasn't happened?
Because she told me like people are attractive to her. Like she said, Idris Elba's fine to her. We don't look shit alike.
I mean,
I'm just saying we don't look nothing alike. Idris Elba probably 6'6". I'm like 5'11". Like
that is funny.
Fat. Like this nigga built like we don't look nothing like. I never felt any way about it. I think this is the thing is I think y'all ego takes a bruising a lot. And y'all ego, truth be told, y'all egos is a lot bigger than men's.
That's true.
And so that's why when y'all be wearing the weeds and trying to compete and trying to keep up with other women, fashion trends, women, like I said, women follow trends, women follow trends, women follow trends. And when y'all do that, y'all, it's because y'all ego is in play.
Well, you're
because
missing
if I
a
tell
big
you, because
piece.
even if I tell you, I'm just liking this bitch picture because, and me and my homeboy had a conversation about this. When it comes to sex, if you go through, if we're gonna talk about, you said Instagram, like you use Instagram, but if you go through my porn search, do you know the different types and plethoras of different types of women I got in him? Do you know how far my fantasy stretches of the women that I would try to smash if I had the option?
Do you think it's healthy to indulge like that?
What you mean?
Like,
now, I ain't talking about just I don't agree with people addicted to porn, but I'm just saying.
No, I just mean that, like, so, and stop me if I say anything offensive. I just mean, like, as a married person, and you know, as a man, y'all are visual creatures, which is the piece that I was talking about when I said there's a piece you're missing. It's not just our ego. You all have already made it clear, and even if you never said it, it's obvious, like, that you all are visual creatures. So we have to look good. That's the bottom line. So it's not like it's something we're making up. Like, when you talk about, oh, y'all feel the need to compete and this kind of thing, like, yeah, we do. So if you're a man and you know that you want to feel adored by your man, you want to feel like that you're the woman of his dreams, that you're the woman of his fantasy, because if you are not, that means that basically times that you're having sex, times, just random times throughout the day, that he is probably fantasizing about somebody besides you. And I just feel like at some point that rubber has to meet that road. And maybe that's why so many men are getting divorced. Maybe they're marrying women they're not sincerely attracted to. And then they're bombarded with these Instagram, I just say Instagram, I'm saying they're bombarded with this unrealistic visage of women all the time that these hoes don't even look like themselves. You are a whole content creator. You know all about Photoshop and angles and lighting and whatever else. And I just feel like that's a really dangerous place we're in as a society. And for women, it is very hard for us. I'm letting you know now, it's very hard for us.
I think that goes back to y'all women internalizing things and y'all emotions again, because it trumps the man, because men have this thing of conquest. That's why when you talk about a sister goddess, talking about a white woman being more powerful than a man, if she's more powerful, if that's the idea, even in society, it's some form of conquest for a man. Dating a woman, no matter what she looks like, is always a conquest, and men have to have that fire, that spark. That's why they always talk about like the Coolidge theory. Like they have this thing where they have a male hen in the coop with the women hens, right, or whatever. And they was talking about how it was slowing up, the production of eggs was slowing up. So he had to put new, fresh chickens in there.
Okay.
Production sped back up because it's the thrill, it's the catch, it's the chase. A lot of men need that. That's why a lot of men testosterone. They have proven that a lot of men testosterone fall when you get in relationships and be 100% faithful to your woman, to the point where you got to go and get CAD. They don't have Cialis and Blue Chew and Roll, all that on there. That ain't for no nigga out here slanging Peter Walker that ain't in a relationship. That's for married men. That's for married men. That ain't. I'm telling you, my granddad used to say this. He said, if your dick don't get hard, you need to get you a new chick.
Well, could it also be, though, and I'm just saying, like, there are other factors that play a role in testosterone levels in men, the same way like with women today. Like our hormone levels are all over the place because we talked about the food and different things like that.
I agree. But there have been specific studies, and as having conversations with other men, married men, I'm telling you, like, this is not something that because you ate bad, your genetics. This is a thing that just happens to men, where you get into a relationship with a woman, and the long time you feel like you lose the spark. You feel like you don't have that fire or that.
There are things you can do to reinvigorate it. I would say, like, a change of scenery is usually a good thing.
Let me tell you something. I ain't nothing like some new pussy.
Now you just said that, and you said that you watch porn. Do you not feel like that's not healthy to do if you know that it's probably gonna come a time?
I don't watch porn, but I said if it was a time you would ever go and look at my categories, it'll probably be a big booty Asian, right? How many big booty Asians you know? So I'm really living a fantasy out on this. So
no, I'm not saying it's on some like, oh, I really think that you would go, because like you said, like these are women that just are on the internet and stuff, but it's more so like you don't think that's mentally unhealthy to do to yourself. You just said you're gonna stop. Eventually, you're gonna stop being, maybe not 100%, but you're gonna stop being the way that you are sexually attracted to your wife. One day you are gonna stop being that way. That's any man. If you know that's the case, why would you then further basically speed the process up by showing yourself a bunch of women that you basically can't have because they don't even really exist? They're just on the internet.
Because I'm a man at the end of the day, I want to look. And you thinking like this. You thinking that if it's in the mind that you're gonna put it into play, basically. I feel like that's like the first, isn't that the precursors of an action, a thought? Like, I don't think about sleeping with other men besides my man. How many thoughts you have a day that you don't act on? How many thoughts have you had multiple times of those thoughts and you just never still act on it? How many times have you thought about, hey, I should have slapped that bitch right there?
And guess what I don't do? I don't feed into those thoughts if I actually don't want them to take place. So let me go to Michael, because Michael he fixed what I shouldn't say fixed, but he did go back and say the only reason why he said that earlier was because he knows I don't usually say feminist things. Oh, okay. So that's why he asked if I was playing devil's advocate. But here he says, the women we would sleep with is different than the women we want to be with. Brother is speaking facts. He goes on to say she wants to believe in the fantasy brother. Allegedly, women don't watch porn, and you would be a fool to think she don't sometimes desire other men. So here's the thing. I did used to watch porn. I don't know how long it's been since I stopped. I would say about 2019, I think, maybe 2018, 2019. And for some reason, one day I just stopped cold turkey and I never did no more. But when I did used to, I feel like for me, it would literally be because I didn't have a man when I was watching porn. I wasn't in a relationship. So I think that was just a scratch and itch. But that would probably explain it, because I've been in a relationship since 2020. So I don't feel the need to watch porn, especially without my partner present or something. Like, I wouldn't feel the need to do that, because like to not watch porn? No, to watch porn with your partner. Oh, I never have. I'm saying, like, I'm thinking like the people, if I was going to do it, it would probably be more in that sense.
Hey, it's funny thinking about that, because I tried to watch porn with somebody before, and I'm looking at her, she looking at me like, man, turn this nasty shit off.
Right, now there's somebody else in the room. Now you realize the shit nasty.
Nasty shit. What's wrong with you? Got me here watching this.
Exactly. You felt filthy as hell, didn't
you? You invade my private space. This is my private time. This is when I get intimate with myself, and I just let somebody in on this. Oh my God. I can't believe I just did that. Like, dang. Like, no. But I'm telling you, what you see men do or what men like, we always have these boxes. And I give my homegirls the same advice. Men mind work like boxes. Women minds work like yarn. All y'all shit is jumbled up, mumbled up. We compartmentalize a lot of shit. So I got a sex box I got girls in, and I got a wife box. I got homies. I got, so I got different boxes where I compartmentalize it. Typically, when I put a person in the box, it's hard for that person to get out of that box. That's why people be dating for so long, because you'll be in the box or like girlfriend, but you just ain't quite jumped into wife box, or you did something to say something that still got you here, but you just cannot for some reason jump there. So these are the things that work in men's minds. That is just so simple. If I like an Instagram thought that she's in the sex box. Mm-hmm. She's not in the wife box. I don't want to bring her home to mama. This is something that I just want to, I look at her and I have flashes of 45 different flashes in 2 seconds of what I would do to her, knowing that if I actually got her, I probably wouldn't last them but 10 seconds. Like, and these are and sometimes for men, it ain't even the actual conquest when you get to a certain age. It's actually the fantasy. It grows bigger than the actual act. So I see a lot of old men when women be like, oh, he's a creepy staring at me. Yeah, he might be creepy, but he probably more than likely wouldn't try to have sex with you, because it's the idea of the fantasy. Because a lot of times, and a lot of men can attest to this, after you get that first nut out the way with a woman, you be let down so bad. You get let down so bad because sometimes you be want to like a woman, then realize, oh, I was just sexually backed up, and she was just my masturbation tool for that moment. Like just to know this type of, and like I said, I give the raw was a raw, and then women to try to argue. Well, not all men act like that.
Hold on. Please forgive me if I'm going off the rails. I just remember something you posted on Facebook the other day.
What?
Did you not say the other day that you would dang near crash out? And I don't even know. I think you used a different verbiage. If your wife had, like, if your wife ever cheated on you or something, like, didn't you just say that the other day? You was like, no, it wasn't. It was like you shared something. You didn't just randomly say it, but like you shared something, and it was something like, if my wife ever did this, I would. I could have sworn that was you. And the point I'm making is, it sounds like you're trying to reduce sex to be this kind of meaningless thing.
For men, it is.
But if what you, and I'm gonna find that post, because I'm telling you, you said something like this. You said something about if your wife had ever did something, how it would make you feel. Like I think you were making a point to say that you have never had your feelings hurt that bad before, so you wouldn't even know what you would do or something like that. And if you did say that, or even if you think it now, or you believe that to be true, then that negates your entire point about sex being meaningless. If you would not be hurt by your wife having sex with another man, then you cannot say that sex is meaningless.
This is another woman point. One woman point. So come back to the man side. You ready?
Okay.
Sex is meaningless for me. But a woman that I love, no, sex is not meaningless for her and her giving her body away. That's why I do the things. That's why I'm willing to lay my life down for her. So her giving her box or vagina to someone, it means a lot more to me than me going to click an Instagram model post, or if I was to go and take the Instagram model to the bedroom. Sex for me in that moment with someone else is meaningless. Sex with my wife, or my wife going to give her box to someone else, is not meaningless. It means a lot to me. Do you understand?
I understand.
I'm just saying, like, men, am I lying? Put in the comment section. I'm just saying, I'm a man. I'm trying to, and I
can't make it be what it isn't. So if that's really how y'all feel, and I've heard plenty of men say this. In fact, I always hear men say this. They say it's different for women because if a woman has sex with a man, she probably actually likes him. She's probably been building up some sort of connection with him over the last few days or weeks or something. You know, maybe like a work husband kind of thing, whatever. Yeah. And I mean, I feel all that because I do believe that's true. I think if a woman cheats on her man, she definitely must like the guy. I mean, like I said, that type of thing don't even cross my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to seriously be damn near in love with a guy if I would do that. But of course, I would hope that I would have the decency to leave there and not do that anyway. But I'm just to the point. He must really be the bee's knees if I would be willing to sacrifice.
No, he
this
just
relationship. I'm saying to me,
he's
like.
Not.
He could be.
He's just gonna be a nigga at work. He come to work with his tight sweatpants.
I mean, yeah, like a work husband type thing. Shit, I'm talking about like other situations though, like
on your back and smell good. Gonna have a cologne
because
on. He's gonna lean over your desk. It's gonna smell good, and you're going, oh, this cologne. Then you're gonna be like, oh, Darren, I picked this cologne up for you. I smelled this cologne. You're gonna try to act like you went to the mall. I was just perusing through the mall, and then the lady asked me that I want to smell some perfume, and I just asked, what new male perfume, a cologne do you have? And then when I smelled it, I just thought of you. I said, oh, this will smell so good for my man. But I really smelled it on this nigga that be rubbing his meat on my back at work.
Now, why? Now, ain't that funny that you just gave that whole long soliloquy of some shit that has not happened? The same way that you can have that vivid imagination of what you think. You
see how vivid my imagination is, though.
But I'm saying, but y'all make fun of women when we do that. We imagine y'all doing crazy stuff like that too. But y'all say, ain't nobody doing that stuff. But you just came with this whole big thing. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day,
no, like, you know why I said I did that? Because that happened to me. That's why I knew I got cheated on like that. Randomly, somebody said, and I'm so stupid. I'm green at the time. Hey, baby, I just walking through the mall and I smelled this cologne. I was looking for women perfume.
Well, that is quite literally a thing that could happen. I don't think you're green for believing that. That you would smell a cologne and want your man to have it? What if you had already planned to buy him some cologne? I don't understand. Like, how is that crazy? Okay, finish the story. Maybe I didn't hear all the parts.
Heard it, right? But I just think that is very rare. To be honest, I have never had a woman just buy me cologne because they smelled it. Never. I've never heard a man say a woman had just really bought them cologne because they just smelled it. Like I was just walking.
Now, I will say, now it don't have to be nothing nefarious, but I do think sometimes a woman might smell a cologne on a man. It could be a stranger in, whatever.
Yeah,
and maybe she might have asked him what it was or whatever. Like that could happen.
But it's still an interference with another man. Right. So it's another man that prompted you to buy me some cologne.
Now you can look at it like that, which sounds very like, I'm not trying to be funny, but that sounds very insecure.
There you go.
That sounds very insecure. But you can put, and Instagram's algorithms. It could be 50,000 likes on that picture, and Instagram is gonna put your name there so I can see it. You would do that. You would publicly declare that you find a woman sexually attractive, where people can see it, our friends and family, myself, but I can't I can't smell a cologne that I sincerely think would smell good on you and ask a man, hey, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but
well, you my friend. I don't like women's photos. So on Instagram or anything like that. I don't do that.
Are you you serious?
I don't you never seen me like anybody.
Oh, no, I haven't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't do it out of respect for my wife though.
Then why are you arguing about it?
Because I understand why there are men that do it and they would never ever be there. I don't do it because me and my wife have established that. Well, we ain't never even talked about it. She never said I don't.
You just knew that it was some shit you probably shouldn't do.
I just don't do it, but I know there's other guys that. Oh, I like the picture.
Of course, there's gonna be men that do it, but it doesn't determine whether it's right or wrong.
I'm gonna say this: when it comes to relationships, for me, I always believe in, and the Bible said that you don't even want the look of impropriety.
Exactly.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. Like even how I move, even how I move with like even the female consecrated, even how I try to move with you, and like you want your boyfriend to be around. Like I don't want to be in situations where we are alone together or extended period of times or my wife don't know about it. Like so, I try to make sure that everything that I do is on the up and up. But I don't think for most people, this ain't a woman thing, it ain't a man thing. I just think for most people just don't understand how to maneuver in relationships, especially when you're bringing somebody into your life, into your world. Like you might be a girl that got all these homeboys and just think you can just hop up and go here with your homeboy and think it's cool because it's something you always done. But now you got a boyfriend and then you ain't thinking about it. So now your boyfriend feels slighted because you just hopped up with this guy friend and went out. Now I'm thinking, hey, y'all, you probably smashed him, or why would he feel comfortable paying for you to go here? And you just acting like it's nothing, and then you don't understand why I feel slighted because now another guy has access to my girlfriend or somebody I potentially like or want to marry, and he can just take her out at any time. That's gonna make me feel a way. So for me, like I said, I just try not to have the looks of impropriety on anything, but I understand most people don't carry that level of commitment or understanding or care for the person that they with. Because like I really care for like my wife. I really care for her. So that's why I say a lot of people, and when I say that, I say because that's how I show that I care. But for a lot of people, that doesn't mean that they don't care for that person. They just don't show care like that. I had my grandfather care for people by buying them gifts.
Firstly, thank you so much, Michael, for the super sticker. Thank you. Do you think that, and this is gonna be my last question, okay? At least my last question to you. Do you think that if more Black men carried themselves in the way that you're talking about, that we would have more successful, specifically Black relationships that lead to Black marriage?
No.
So you really don't think that if more Black men took the time to just care about how their actions affect their woman, you don't think that could have a positive effect?
I think most people care about the actions that they take. I just think sometimes the actions that they take, they'll look at it as minuscule, and sometimes they get blown up to be bigger than what it is. Like you've been in a situation where something Darren has done, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did X, and he's really like genuinely dumbfounded as to why this is bothering you.
Right.
So, and he's like, baby, I didn't try to hurt you. I wasn't trying. You're literally sitting here and fussing at me, cussing at me, doing all this stuff as if I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to attack you. And I'm the person that loves you the most. In this moment, I still love you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to do anything wrong. I'm not trying to do anything nefarious, sneaky, go behind your back or anything. What I did right now was genuinely just for me. And sometimes I think in relationships, it's no grace to do things just for you too.
Well, it's because, like you said, you are intertwining your lives. But I have always heard that the most successful marriages, relationships do allow for the person to still have their own identity, which I know is probably a reason why your wife is so accepting of you having your podcast and doing content creation, because that's something that you're passionate about. You've invested a lot of work and time and research in. And so for her, it's like, hey, maybe there are some times that I'd rather him be home with us a few nights, but I also know that if I stifle him too much, it could have a backfire effect or something.
And that's a conversation that we had too, dating. I told her, I'm not a guy that can be done like that. You can't put these really strict restraints on me. If I feel really, I rebel. Now, I told her I'm a rebeller. You can't tell me I can't do something. I'm not going to do something. I'm going to rebel. So I need a level of trust, but I also understand the type of autonomy that I need in my relationship. I got to build some type of trust to get that type of autonomy. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't put in that work and that effort. Like, we was together for 4 years before I even started the podcast. 6 years. Damn, we've been together since 2017.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we've been together since 2017. So I put in a lot of work to get to the point where I can have the type of autonomy that I got now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't put in that type of work or that type of understanding who their partner is. Sometimes you have a partner that is insecure. We all come with insecurities, even though that's a word that people try to weaponize. We all come with some type of insecurity.
Yeah, I actually hate when people try to weaponize the word insecure, because it's like, first of all, I think that's just a natural part of the human existence. There are going to be certain things that you feel not as confident about, situations, whatever. And I think that as a partner, now I get it. Obviously, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't overdo it to the point that your partner feels like nothing they do is going to make you feel secure. But I think it is good to be mindful of what you're doing to affect your partner. Yeah.
And so, like I said, like, you got to make sure what you're doing at all times is encompassing of that person. Like, for instance, I can give you a prime example. Me and my wife, when we first started dating, Big Crit came into town.
Okay.
Big Crit came into town. I'm sitting on the couch. Her cousin's on the phone. Her cousin that she stayed with, they all talking about it. They're like, yeah, we're going to go see Big Crit. I'm sitting on the couch right beside her.
And you felt some type of way that she didn't want to go with you, or she didn't make plans?
So she didn't invite me, right? So then, like, a day before, she says, oh, I ain't think you want to go see Big Crit too? I said, baby, nah, I don't want to go see Big Crit. I'm an afterthought. Like, I literally was sitting beside you when you was making plans with your cousins and stuff. And now all of a sudden you want to add the day before.
Right. And like, first of all, even if I wanted to go, I probably can't this late in the game because my name ain't no more tickets.
Like, those are like examples of like trying to understand the people that you're with. And like I said, you had this type of autonomy for so long where you didn't have to include a boyfriend, or, you know what I'm saying?
Darian talks about that a lot.
Those are things that people got to take time with, conversation. And I think a lot of people in relationships, they're not having the right conversation.
No, they're not.
People are talking, but they're not having the right conversation. Also, this is another thing me and my wife had to talk about. She would want to have a conversation. I'm watching TV. I'm out in the yard. You want to have real deep conversations at the most inopportune times when I'm not focused, when I'm doing something. I said, that is like, to me, kind of like weaponizing a conversation as well.
Could be
the wrong time having a conversation, and you want to ask me these pertinent questions, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, because I want you to get the fuck on.
Well, see, that comes from, that comes from us women. We think whatever it is we brought to your attention, we've been thinking about it all day or for several days. And so it's just like, it gets to some point where it just bubbles up and you're like, you can't hide it anymore, or you can't hold it anymore. And sometimes that just be at a random time. Like, we'll be on the couch or something. Maybe we would just got through laughing about something, whatever. And then I just like, you know, it's real funny how, and I can't, okay, I should say I can't help it, but I will say it is very hard to help it, because if it's something that's really like been pricking at us, like, we don't look at it like that. Like you just said, like you said, hey, I'm doing this other thing. Like, So my answers are probably going to be dismissive, or I'm not going to be able to give this the attention it deserves. And I'm probably going to be a little annoyed because it's like, why are you trying to have this deep conversation right now? But as a woman, it just don't always translate like that.
Yeah. So ladies, also when it comes to insecurity too, if you fellas, I'm going to say this real quick. If you are feeling insecure about something, right? So let's say your woman, this is a prime example. Let's say your woman, right, is going on lunch dates with Big Dick Willie.
Oh, here we go.
She going on lunch dates with him, and she says to you, and you tell her, baby, I don't feel comfortable with you going on these lunch dates with Willie. I just call him Big Dick Willie, but just Willie, because you're gonna think as a man, you're gonna be like, damn, this nigga finna, Big Dick Willie. It's the only reason you gonna be a mess with this nigga because dick bigger than mine. He got more money than me, right? But anyways, so you're gonna be like, baby, I don't think that I feel comfortable with you going on dates or lunch dates with Willie. She's gonna blow it up. Oh, it's Willie. He's nothing but a gentleman. We've been doing this for years. I don't think you should think about it. Baby, don't be insecure. Now, she's just weaponized insecurity because now you don't want to bring it up because you don't want to seem insecure. And when you seem insecure, now in your eyes, you're going to seem like a bitch to her because you keep bringing up an issue that's pertaining to another dude. But it could be just an issue, but another dude, now you feel like you're going to be a bitch because you keep bringing up something. But she's weaponized insecurity. I'm going to tell you, fellas, if you say anything, this women and men, though, if you bring up something and somebody weaponizes the insecurity in that manner and says, don't be insecure, oh, you're insecure, that is a person you need to watch out for because they understand now that they can weaponize something because you got a genuine issue instead of talking about it and say, well, what makes you feel this way? Or just say, okay, women should understand. If I say, I don't like you being around a dude, it should just be okay. It shouldn't even be no pushback.
I was just about to say, like, I feel like that's not a woman or man thing. I think that's just a person to person thing because I feel the exact same way. Like, I do not like the term insecure being weaponized against me. Like, if something is sincerely bothering me or if I feel like something is to me, I say unacceptable, but something I'm like, okay, from what my vision of a relationship is, this type of thing I don't find to be, this, I don't rock with this or whatever. Yeah. I feel like as long as it's not something completely unreasonable or extremely controlling, I just feel like you said, there really shouldn't be, especially if it's something dealing with the opposite sex. Like if a man or a woman, if people be having like I said, work husbands and work, that's a real thing. I actually witnessed 2 whole marriages get broken up when I worked at Honda. Like it was 2 people that worked on the line. They were both married and they ended up both leaving their spouses for each other. And I don't know if they're still, I feel like I heard that they're not together anymore, but
how can you trust somebody that you cheating with? Exactly.
It's like, so yeah, that was obviously dumb for them to do anyway, but I'm just saying like, that's a real thing. So to your point, yeah, like if you're saying a genuine concern and somebody hits you with you're just being insecure, I would say run for the hills. But I also say I got to run back to my hill. My hill is in my Zarian hill, honey, because I got to get back to my man. I ain't seen him all day.
Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, Political Ransom. I'm trying to grow a channel. This is a new channel for me. Like I said, I would thank everybody for hitting the super chats. Make sure y'all tune into Chill Out J Podcast. Make sure y'all always tune in. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell on my channel so y'all can get all of my stuff. And me and Jazz probably do this a lot more.
Yes, listen, guys. Y'all gotta let Said know that y'all feeling it because he's a busy guy, so I gotta be able to, get him to open up the stew for us. Y'all can't see everything, but this is really legitimate, and this has taken a lot of investment and time and everything. And I feel like hey, if I can aid in any way of getting the content out a little more, combining our audiences or whatever, I'm really into that. I've really enjoyed this tonight. And thank you all to everybody who super chatted. And yes, please subscribe to the Chill Out J Podcast on YouTube. Follow me at JMac on basically all platforms. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, some variation of JMac, JAYMACK. You'll see me on there. And you know how I get down. So we literally barely talked about Jasmine Crockett and them.
That's what we're supposed to talk
And that's what we were supposed to talk about. But I'm
probably-
not shocked.
We probably
We'll have to do a part 2.
We're probably gonna try to chop it up tomorrow.
Yes.
Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Like so, we're gonna do a big panel tomorrow. We should be doing a big panel tomorrow. Hopefully everything comes through and everybody pulls up. So we'll see what tomorrow's got in store for us.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it's Said's show, so he'll give us the outro. But I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who watched, and I hope you guys continue to tune in, subscribe to the Political Ransom channel, and also to the New Normal podcast. Also,
Also to the New Normal podcast, my other channel too. And my salutations for tonight. I'm gonna let you. This your closing statement.
That's it. Subscribe.
Okay, my closing statements: don't put your dick where it don't go. Peace.
Not where it don't go.
Where it don't go.
Oh my God.